the gears have shifted a little bit on the kitchen cabinet project because we need to get the base cabinets in first. And the most complicated base cabinet is that 45-degree angle cabinet in the corner where the sink's going to go out here. So I've been laying out mathematically, drawing right on the wood to try to decide where my cuts have got to be. So I am going to do that. I've come up with 45 by 45 is the overall dimension. The confusing part is where the everything overlaps in the front. If you see this, this is going to be where the face frame comes across for the doors. And this is where the vertical end goes in. We have to cut 3/8 of an inch off because it's going to be dadoed in, so it needs to be 45 overall. And yeah, it's a little bit mind-boggling in a sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this to 45 first over here, and then run it through the table saw and cut it really straight. So lesson learned, think a lot, measure a lot, cut once. Okay, so it ended up being, I need to measure the offset of my blade was 1 3/8 from this edge of the fence to the edge of that tooth, because I'm taking that wood out. I don't want to measure to the far side of the tooth. So that was 1 3/8. So I found my mark of 44 5/8, and I just moved the thing till it's 1 3/8 back. That'll make my cut at 44 5/8. And I double checked that on both sides a couple of times. So we're all good now. And I got the windows open. I don't need the dust collection going. I'll get this up here. And just keep that tight against the fence. Check and see. Yeah, I'm going to run right into the stupid 2x4 that I put under there. Move that back. That didn't move. There we go. I got 4 under there, 2 under each piece, so when it's not even going to drop or shift much at all. That should do it. Oh, geez. These edges are all going to be covered, so that's not really a worry. Hang on to the saw both ends. Finally made a cut, and it's right on my mark where I wanted this edge to be, so that's good. So I need to do the same cut. I just need to rotate this. This is now needed wood for now. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'll come back when I get the other one set up. All right. Got to rip the little edge off from this to get down to my working square size that I need. I go there and that there. And I'll do the same thing. Make sure the cut is going to be just short of the wood. I really don't care if this falls on the floor. All right. Cut my golly gee, Mrs. Cleaver. Alright. That's going to be hidden, don't worry about it. That's going to be buried in the back of the cabinet, so that little chip in the plywood. So, what I'm doing, I've gotten really confused about where I want to cut this 45-degree corner off. So I've decided what I need to do is I need to cut my ends at 23 1/4, which is the normal width, where I'm dadoing the back in. And what I'll do from there, shoot, I gotta remove another 3/4 of an inch. What I'll do from there is test fit these. Put one on each side, and then I'll draw the line, then I'll know exactly where to cut it. So I'll put one piece on each end, and that'll okay, so I've been experimenting with the table saw with the blade set at 45 degrees and seeing how accurate my measure is, the tape on the thing to the where the cut actually starts, and this is perfect. I went for 24 inches, and that's right on the line, so it's perfect. This one has to be wider because this is actually, it should have been 23 inches, but it doesn't matter. I can cut some off. So that's what I will have to do. Cut off an inch. Because I'm putting the back on this, and I want that to start at 23 inches. Okay, well that's fine. There's going to be plenty of wood to do that. You know what? I'm going to cut it at 45 just so I don't have to deal with it. This one's 23 inches. And I'll let you watch the cut. I'll try not to cut my hand off. I'm just going to be pushing down pretty close to the blade, so but don't get nervous. I know where that blade is. And this plywood is actually pretty decent. I've been cleaning up as I go so I don't have to trip over stuff in the workshop. Okay, we're at 23 inches. 23 because the backs are screwing on. Right to the back. Safely. It's nice that my tape on my fence coordinates perfectly to the width I want. 23, look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but that's right on that perfectly. So the next one I have to cut 3/4 of an inch thinner because that's the one that's getting the pine on the outside. So I have to remember that on the back side. So I have another one right here. And this is going to be the outside, and we want that to be the bottom. So I want to cut this edge, and it's at 23, so I need to go to 22 1/4 to allow for the pine. Get this wood out of the way. I'm going to have to cut my platform 3/4 of an inch thinner too. Okay, that's 22 1/4. Dust collector home. Pushing down and towards the left. I haven't had a lot of success, I don't think, in the past. I don't know if I've tried. I guess maybe I'm lying. Making it up as I go along. I don't know that I've ever experimented with that, but that looks like a pretty damn perfect cut to me. And that's, ba-boom, 22 1/4, right on the canutsies. So now the next step is I got to straighten this back out. And I can put the dado back on. And then we're going to cut the dados. I'm going to cut the notch, which I can do with, I got to cut the notches in here for the toe kicks. But see, this is weird because these are coming out this way, and the other toe kick is coming here, And so this one, I'm just not sure how I'm going to engineer how I cut the ends of these. So maybe I won't cut them right now. I'll just cut them when I start putting it together. I can always notch them out with the saber saw. It's not a big deal. Alright. But I do want to bring the toe kick up to 3 inches when we do the dado. Toe kick up to 3 inches. That's the base of the door. And we'll screw that together and glue it too. Alright. I'll be back when I set the dado. You want to see me set the dado up? Well, I'll put this back vertical and I'll show you how I'm setting the dado up. Alright, so first thing you do is unplug your sewer. I don't talk like that, I don't know. I'm just a geek. Anyway, this wrench is 1 1/16. Put my wood in there, put this on the nut, bust it. Alright, this is a great blade. I've used it for years. It's a thin kerf. It's probably a little dull. Thin kerf Diablo, Freud 10-inch 24 ripping. I've used it for everything, and it works perfectly. I probably should send them out after this project and get them all sharpened. Okay, so the last time I put this together, I had to diddle around with it, but I saved all the shims. So I'm putting that dude on there. The 1/16 inch shim in there. And then these guys are just your chippers. So we put them on so they're in between blades correctly. And the tooth, of course, is facing, because the blade turns this way. Put them in at every 120 degrees or so. Third of the way around, whatever you want to call it. Put the shims back in, as I said. I don't know. Offset the teeth a little bit. I like to do that. Alright, and now the stack is in. And this guy, just grab the nut, get behind that big tooth. Not the chipper, but on the main blade. There we go. Come on. I know that fits. Alright. I need to mash that too bad. I'll make a test cut just to make sure I got my stack right before I go through the whole rigmarole of cutting one. Again, you can't measure off the blade now. I mean, you have to measure off the blade to get your height. And we wanted 3 inches. This Vega fence is a very nice fence too. Alright, I'm just going to take a scrap and run it through. Turn on the test our width. And she's nuts. Dead nuts. Perfect for me. Perfect enough. Alright, so now I gotta look at these and make sure I cut the dados in the right spot. This is the tall one. Yeah, isn't it? Or isn't it? Okay, this is the short one, so this is gonna be here. So I need to run the dado here. Alright. As I said, we'll notch these out when the time comes. Dust collector. Getting there, we're getting closer. I should have cut that other panel off while I had the chance. So, the plot thickens. I'll try to explain what I'm doing. I'll get my original drawing. Original? So here's what we're doing right now. I made that left-hand side, which is 22 1/4, because it has to come in for the depth of the dado, and it has to be compensated for the 3/4 inch going on the back of it, and still end up 24 inches at the front. The 24 inch side on here got cut back to 23 1/4. Actually 23, because we're going to put 1/4 inch paneling on the back of that. But we need to figure out how to put these braces in there and be able to get that back on it just the same. I think I'll just butt join it. Alright, time to awkwardly cut this edge off. Okay, that's the edge I pokered up with the saw anyway, so it's good to get rid of it. I'm not really doing it the right way, but since when have I ever done anything the right way? I'm cutting the 3/4 inch off one edge based on the fence, which I had to also add in the width of the blade, you know. Task accomplished. Sorry. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to figure out where I need to cut that front light. Front part of that off. So I've got my pieces cut here. So I can do a little measuring. Okay. My drawing's only about a 1/16 of an inch off here, so I'm good with that. It's wood. When you're talking 1/16 of an inch, that is nothing, baby. That sucker is pretty straight. So there's the actual cut right there. We're going to take a little of the line. You know, I need to make a saw sled. I have a saw sled. Not quite. Knock it back. I think this blade is a little narrower than. right to the edge. Perfect. It's within a zillionth of an inch. I'm good with it. All right, we're screwing the ends on this. One end to start with, then we'll screw the rest of them down. Sorry, buddy. Don't worry, I don't think your face is on screen anyway. All right, so I need to describe the depth of this to make it easy. This is 3 inches right here. Of course, that's in the way. So if that'll give me the center of that board. I need to put a crap. All right, we got to do the other end. That's pretty good though, isn't it? Aren't those little squares handy?
Yeah.
That's why I built them, because they're not complicated, but they're easy to use. Get this guy set up. I already test fitted these once, so I made a little put a groove on the wrong end, but that'll be up inside the cabinet. I don't know if you'll ever see it. And tighten it down with the screws, them screws. Where'd you come from, boy? I don't know where them come from. This is the complicated cabinet anyway, Bubba. You might have to lift yours up to meet the groove. Oh, you got it. Just a little tapping. All right, now get your little wedge thing and make sure it's square.
Oh, it's right there.
Hold her square for me. There you go. Thanks, Bubba. I'm going to just start out square. And we'll do the same trick as I did on the other side for the line. Hold that up against the bottom of that. There you go. Thanks, Bubba. And you just, because it's 3/4 of an inch thick, that's about 3/8 of an inch, don't you think? Yeah, close enough? Close enough for the girls we date? There you go. Guess that's all I need you for, Bub.
Okay.
You can go back to playing. He's a video gamer.
See ya.
Love you, buddy.
See you on.
So we're just gonna. What am I doing? All this will be totally unseen. This is all just structural stuff. So. I'm really not worried about making this pretty or perfect or anything. This is just support. That's all this is. Yeah, I'm going to screw this about every foot or so, I think. Maybe 5 screws in the whole thing. I do try to vary them back and forth just a little bit. So they're not all going into the same groove. This is going to be in the back against the baseboard anyway. So. We're just going to put another piece in the front here, so I'm not going to let you watch me do that. No need. So we have our bases filled in, and I have just cut pieces, which I split the difference so that when I overlap them and make a 90 joint out of them, they're equal distance. And I use them the same height as the end walls. Actually, I just stood the wood up here and marked it. So I'm going to screw this together. And then I'm going to pocket screw it right down on the corner here. And then I'm going to tie the tops together with some more scrap plywood that I have. And then we can put the plywood back on it, and this carcass will be pretty much done. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but it's the way I'm doing it. I love pocket screws. It speeds everybody's life up immensely. Press that right against there like so. Oh, it'll pull it right out. All right. Now, that ain't going nowhere. Never, no how. Right? Hopefully, it's somewhat square. And it seems perfectly square. I've got this square cut piece of wood. And sure looks like it's fitting square. Both ways, because as I said, you cut your wood square and you pull it together tight, she's going to be square. Now I need to put cross braces at the top. So how do you think I'm going to measure with that other end? Oh, this other end waggling around? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure down here. And that is 39 7/8. Alright. And the next one is 39 1/8. Alright, now I need to pocket screw one end of these so I can put it in the cabinet. That's the bad side. And that's the bad side. Now I need to pocket screw one end of these. Because alright, well, I'll give you a break. I'm going to pocket screw ends of these. I'm going to put them up in here and then screw them, and I'll come back when I'm done with that. So this is what we've accomplished so far today. And don't ask me to make another one. This is a corner sink kitchen cabinet. It works out to be 45 inches deep each way. Of course, 24 inches here for your end cabinets coming up against it. This end's going to have a drawer cabinet coming up against it. Two doors in the front, no stile, so you can open it up and get right in here. So this is just the carcass, but we are going to put pine on the one side, so I guess you heard that already. But for strength and rigidity and to square this all up, I'm going to be putting 1/4 inch plywood on the backs and the sides. The wife wants them mouse proof. I may only run the 1/4 inch down to the bottom here and not all the way to the base. Might save me a sheet, who knows. It doesn't need to, and that's against the baseboard, so that'll give me a little clearance if I don't put it down there. Anyway, so the Mausers won't be able to get in there, and of course it'll add tons of strength and rigidity. So it was a real hassle figuring out all these angles and stuff, so that's how I figured this out. Is I knew how to design the end pieces, so I designed them first and held them on there and made my marks. So that's pretty much all there is to it. All right, guys. All right. Well, so far the carcass is done. I ended up cutting a back for it. That's the side that's going against the wall. This end here that's open is going to have the pine on it, so why put other wood on it? It's going to have pine tongue and groove on it, so that'll cover that up. But my wife came in with one stunning shocker and said, hey, is that going to fit through the door? And the answer is no. So, what do? I've decided that I have to cut a toe kick on this side anyway. So I'm going to go back my 3 inches and cut my toe kick. And then I'm going to cut right straight across the floor to the other side, take these 2 rails out, and we're going to have to patch it back together with some scab pieces on the bottom when we get back to the lake. So it's not ideal, but once it's put back together, no one will ever know the difference. All right, well, that's it. It gives me a chance to actually build a face frame for it. And I think this is all for tonight. I got my grandkids for the night tonight, and so we're going to watch some movies and pop some popcorn and so on. But anyway, there's the corner cabinet. The hard one. All right, God bless. Take care, guys. We'll see you again next time.